Hi, Mom. All right, so it is New Year's Eve, and we are in Kyoto in our hotel room, and we're actually participating in something actively right now just by having this little meal in front of us. I know there's not like some scenery around or something like that, but that's not what this is. So on New Year's Eve, what a lot of Japanese families do is they have a New Year's feast of sorts. It has a Japanese name. I don't remember it. If I can put it on the screen here, I'll do that. But that's what we've done is we've gone out and we've purchased one of those feasts. And I have one right in front of me here with all the different like meats and veggies and all that fun stuff. The hotel staff were nice enough to warm it up for us. So we went down and did that. This is by far our biggest room that we've had our entire stay. We've got a little living area here with a couch. Our previous room was just two beds right next to each other in a bathroom, and that's it. So it's nice to have a little extra space in here. And it's also nice to have air conditioning in this room. But this New Year's feast is then followed by people going to shrines, and when they go to shrines, they ring bells, and it's all a part of kind of the New Year's holiday tradition that they do here. Fortunately for us, things will remain open. Most of them close tonight for dinner, so that's why we went and did this. But things will still be open tomorrow, like small cafes and shops. Most major stores and restaurants will be closed, but like fast food chains and then convenience stores, places like that will still be open. So that's what we'll be pretty much living off of tomorrow as we visit shrines, temples, and I actually have one other place in mind for the journey, but for now, I'm going to say let's eat. Alright, so we are going to go to some shrines today. It's New Year's Day here in Japan, and what you usually do on New Year's Day is you do Hatsumode, which is they're going to shrines after the new year happens. It happens on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. But we took a little pit stop to Nintendo's corporate headquarters. It's one of the most secretive little buildings. Nobody can really go in except for people who work here and work at Nintendo and do all the Nintendo things. But we just had to see it. So we're in Kyoto in kind of a more rural area. We took a subway line, and it's just a really cool little curio. I think we're gonna also try and find the original Nintendo building, but this is their current corporate headquarters in Kyoto, Japan. Just thought you guys might like it, so we stopped by. Welcome to Senbontori. This is our Hatsumode shrine, the first one that we visited. We're going to visit some others too, but this is the first one after seeing Nintendo's corporate headquarters. See all of these in the background? The Senbontori actually means thousands tori, and they continue on the left side as well. So I believe that means that there must be 1,000 of these things. I'm not going to count them, but that's my assumption as to why they would call it the Thousands Tori Gate, the Senbontori Gate. It is really cool to just see so many residents and people, tourists as well. Seen quite a few tourists, especially here in Kyoto, just in general, more so than maybe even Tokyo and Osaka, which I thought was very interesting. So we're going to continue our way through here and make it all the way through, visit a couple more shrines, and we'll see how the day goes. Happy New Year's, guys. So this is something that I absolutely love about Kyoto, is that you can just walk down any random side street. It is so quiet. We just got off of kind of a main drag, so you can kind of hear cars in the background, but I mean, most streets are just this serene. There's a bridge here where you can see out over the water. It's really just a nice, pretty area. So we're going to talk about kind of what we did last night, what we're doing today, and kind of what it means, because I think it's all just, I've blurted out some terms in other videos, and I want to make sure that I explain them. So there's two distinct concepts here, and one, I can't remember the exact name of it. I'll put it on the screen if I remember it, but that is the ringing of the bells to bring in the new year. They typically allow people to do it, like myself or Tony could do it, but because of the pandemic, they weren't allowing that this year, which is kind of a bummer, but it is what it is. But what they are allowing is us to watch the said bell ringing festival, and then also they let us in the temple where the monks performed a bit of a ritual for us. So that was really cool. I'm just kind of taking it all in as we go down side streets and visit different places. Today is Hatsumode, and that is the first shrine visit of the year. And actually, with the first shrine visit of the year, we went to the one all the way south of Kyoto Station. There's 3 grand shrines in Kyoto, and we went to one of them. We're going to try and visit all 3 of them today, along with a couple pit stops. We're making another quick one right now, and you guys will see where that is. But for the most part, we're really just trying to take in a lot of the quiet serenity of it all. This isn't Tokyo, this isn't Osaka, this isn't anything like that. It's more of just a relaxing stay where you can walk along a street, see cyclists and maybe a couple people, but mostly it's just quiet streets where you can just enjoy and take in all the sights. Well, we are here in Kyoto about to go to our next grand shrine, and you just never know what you're going to find here. We are currently at a little bit of a festival here. I don't know what the festival's called or anything like that, but you have to assume it's a New Year's kind of festival. People were in lines for a bunch of different food booths. We decided to try, we saw these like super long French fries as we were walking by, and they're super good. So I just had to stop by and kind of pass through here. Might even eat something else on the way out. No idea. But for right now, we're gonna eat some food before we hit up the shrines. So that festival out front was for this particular shrine, the chion-in shrine. Don't know if I said that quite right, but it's close enough. The grounds are actually massive here. I kind of did a video shot of it, but I'll have Tony do a quick just pan over out there. It's absolutely incredible how many people come out to these things. I mean, you can see the throngs of people. I will say the last shrine seemed a bit more crowded, but it's also getting later in the day. So we're gonna head on to our third and final shrine, but first off, I'm gonna have to get a cheese hot dog from the festival out there. So we are at the Yukasa Shrine, the last of the grand three shrines we will be visiting today. It's actually a really cool view outside of that. The street view is really, really cool here. We just got out of another festival. At the first festival we went to for the one shrine, I got some coffee later on, as well as my cheese hot dog, which was basically just a corn dog filled with cheese and no hot dog. And I also got, at this festival, a candied apple, which I've already eaten as well. Look, I'm hungry. I'm gonna eat these things, all right? But I'm still probably gonna go to McDonald's later just because I want to try McDonald's. But the street view is really cool, and it contrasts really well with the beautiful temple that we have right behind us and the festival going on. You can actually see it in the hallway in there. I can officially say New Year's Day in Kyoto has been a success. It's been another long and exciting day. It's funny, we don't plan to have some of these days be as exciting as they are, but then we just kind of start going out and about, and they end up being wild adventures. Today's really biggest adventure is the fact that there were festivals going on at each like shrine place that we went to. The total I spent on food today was probably like $20 in basically fair food and street vendors, which was really cool because I was telling Tony I really just did not expect there to be any festivals going on during this time. Well, not that I didn't expect it, I guess, but I didn't know if we'd see them. So to be able to participate in them actively and go and see what the different vendors had was a lot of fun. It was also interesting because we're in, I won't say it's a rural part of Japan, but definitely more rural than, say, Tokyo, trying to communicate with the people who were the vendors. When I got my cheese hot dog, which, as I mentioned, was just kind of a corn dog with no hot dog. It's basically a glorified mozzarella stick. But it was really good. I'm not going to lie. But what ended up happening there is I said like cheese hot dog, and she said something like cheese, and I heard her kind of talking back and forth with the person there, something about Nihongo, something. Nihongo means like Japanese, right? Like the language sense. And so I just said choto dake, which is like just a very, very little bit. And they just kind of got a good little chuckle out of that. I actually ordered something in Japanese all by myself because I realized there was a sign with a menu, and I got some coffee, and that coffee sign said black coffee. But if you read the katakana under it, it actually said hot coffee. And so I went up and I said ichi hot coffee, which I know it just kind of sounds like I said ichi hot coffee, but I tried to kind of put it into grammatically how they would say it a little bit more, and I was responded to in Japanese, and the entire transaction was done in Japanese. I thanked him afterwards and everything, so that was really cool to be able to have like an authentic Japanese transaction where both of us did that. He even told us to wait a minute by saying something akin to mate kudasai, which is please wait. So stuff like that's really cool to be able to overcome those kind of barriers. I'm also going to do a quick hotel review. Actually, behind me, I doubt you can see it all that well. I'll tilt it down here. But behind this chair, we have a massage chair in our hotel, which is actually pretty cool. Did not expect that at all. We actually just kind of looked at rooms online and found that that was a thing. So yeah, we have a massage chair. There's actually a little, like, it looks like a little storage booth. It's actually a foot massager as well. So that's pretty cool. But really, like, in terms of hotels, we've gotten pretty lucky. The only time we didn't was Osaka because we did not have air conditioning. All of the other ones have had air conditioning or at least a window so we can kind of keep the room cool. The only negative about the room we're in right now is we have to share a bed. But we kind of had to weigh pros and cons in terms of cost and things, but we were able to do that. But one other quick thing I'm going to note, because I could talk a lot about comparisons of hotel rooms, but I don't think it's really worth our time to do that, is kind of the things that you pick up in Kyoto, because in the other places that I've been, you kind of get like bigger souvenir. Like if you're in Tokyo, there's a lot more like pop culture stuff, anime, movies, a lot of kind of in-your-face bulky merch, right, that you buy for yourself. At least for myself, that's kind of how it was. Whereas once you get out into like the countryside, into Kyoto, into Kinosaki, there's more kind of smaller little souvenir type things that you want to get for yourself. So for me, what I've gotten is a lot of little gifts and things here. And then for myself, I've gotten actually a lot of little like shrine fortunes and things like that. Today, for instance, we had fortunes that we picked up, and they are by your birth date. My birthday is June 10th. So I got one that says 610, and that's my birthday. So I'll try and translate that later and see what it is. But just in general, Kyoto has had more of that kind of vibe where you can maybe pick up a Japanese flag or a kimono, try a lot of local street food. And I honestly have really liked that because Tokyo has its own very hectic vibe, whereas Kyoto has a more kind of homey vibe, even though they're both still pretty big cities and big tourist destinations. Being able to differentiate going into an 8-floor department store and sitting in a Buddhist temple for New Year's, just very, very different, and just so cool. So we're probably going to have one more day of seeing some temples and stuff. I'm going to vlog as much of that as I can. I actually forgot to vlog some things that I would have liked to, especially with that third Grand Temple that we Grand Shrine that we visited. So tomorrow, I think we're going to try and visit a couple of historic places, and then we have one more day in Tokyo. I don't know if we'll even film anything that day, because honestly, I feel like we've done a pretty good job here. So I guess as we kind of start to wind down, if you've watched all the vlogs up to this point, thank you. And hopefully you enjoy the little bit of content I have left for you guys. What's up, guys? We are at the Chion-in temple. I'm going to be kind of quiet just because it's generally pretty quiet here. But people are lining up to go inside of the temple behind me. In that temple, they have incense burning, and you can go and you can pray. It's all part of Hatsumode, which is the first shrine visit of the year, I'm sure. I don't know exactly how it works. I'll need to look into it later because it's actually kind of interesting to see like their tradition type things as we go through. Just like when we first kind of went to a shrine and we figured out kind of the ritual there. But the thing that's cool about the Chion-in temple is the bell ringing ceremony that they do. They actually have monks that perform a ritual here every New Year where they ring a bell 108 times, and that is the start of the New Year at the Chion-in temple. So specifically in terms of places to go in Kyoto, if you want to have like a New Year's experience, this is the place to go. So why didn't I go there? Well, the reason for that is because they only let 1,000 people enter due to the pandemic, so we couldn't quite do that. But we found a second temple, and I thought that it was still pretty cool. Got to see some monks ring some bells and perform a ritual. All just a very interesting cultural thing. I think I'm going to head to the Imperial Palace grounds for a little bit. You're not actually allowed in the palace because of the holiday, but just pretty cool. I'm not with Tony right now, so if you're wondering why we're doing selfie style, that is why. But yeah, check that out. Pretty cool temple, I think. So we're here at the Kyoto Imperial Palace. We went to one Imperial Palace to another, but this one's closed currently, so we can't really go inside the actual palace itself, but that's not too different than the previous one. We weren't able to actually go in the palace, but we were allowed to go on the grounds, so I'm here just kind of walking about. It's not quite as scenic and not got as many like good shots, I would say, as the Tokyo Imperial Palace, but it's still really well done. Honestly, I'm just happy that I got in because it's getting around 5 o'clock and a lot of things kind of close like 6 o'clock-ish. So I don't know how much more time that they keep the grounds open, because they do have gates, so that does mean they shut them, but it's very quiet and serene. Try to get a few extra shots of this place because the decorating's really well done. So it's just cool to be in a park where there's, you know, nobody here except for the occasional jogger, especially when it's like this well like decorated and kept. I would think there'd be a lot more, but I don't know. I guess 5 o'clock in the evening on a I believe it's a Tuesday night isn't the biggest jogging time. Well, it's the last day in Akihabara, so where better to spend it than next to some Genshin statues and stuff. Don't really have much to say. It's more of the same here today, but this is how I spent it in one of the most bustling entertainment districts in the entire city. People running around all around me. I just saw somebody sprinting for the subway, so hope you guys have enjoyed. I'm gonna go buy anime things one more time. Just like that, it was over. We were on our flight home as the flight crew gave us one more bow out. But I couldn't help but think of all the memories that we had made over the span of just a couple weeks. Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto. 3 wonderful areas in Japan and one stay in Kinosaki to see some hot springs. So many friends made, things accomplished, and a lot of anime merchandise bought. Between me and Tony and the adventures that we took together, it was one of the most memorable experiences that I think any person could have in their entire lifetime. And as I sat reminiscing on everything that we had done, sitting in that plane for 14 more hours on the way back, it was just as painful then as it was on the way there. But as I took one final look over Japan, I was able to take in all the sights that we had seen and think about the fact that you guys got to take that journey with me, and I got to share it with you guys. So, in sharing all that, I think there's only one thing left to say.